everybody, this is Jennifer Pebbles from Studio Pebbles, and as part of my blog series Back to School for Mom with Target and Target Inner Circle, what I really wanted to introduce you today is a really quick and easy way for anyone to make a set of printables using a service called PicMonkey.com. I chose this as an option because really it's so user-friendly, great for beginners. It's free as if you want to try it out, and there's no software to download. It's all internet-based, or I should say web-based. You can unlock the royal features of PicMonkey by paying a very inexpensive monthly subscription fee. I believe it's $5. It's no more than $10 a month. So if you're someone who loves the look of some of the things you see on Pinterest or on Etsy, but you feel like you don't want to take the time to learn Photoshop or Illustrator, all those other things, this is something you can use, and I think it works great. I know there are other options out there, but we're just going to go with PicMonkey today, and hopefully while you follow along, I'll be able to teach you something that you can use today. So let's get started. So here we are, just the home screen of PicMonkey, and up here you'll see we have some choices. There's edit a photo or create a collage, and today we're going to create a collage. So this will pull up your artboard, and we're going to go over here to the menu, and I'll just explore quickly the options. Here is where you can open photos from your computer and upload your own pictures. There's the layout option where you set up your artboard based on how you want your pictures to lay out. And again, there's some royal features that you would pay for. Those are the ones with a crown. Otherwise, there's a lot of them that are free. We're going to go with square deal, and we're going to choose 9 squares. Okay, and I'll show you how to edit these as we go. Then there's swatches and background. And for right now, we're just going to leave background the same, background the way it is. Background is where you can change the spacing between your squares. For me, for right now, I'm okay with spacing it 20. We might bring it down to like 12 or 10, or let's keep it at 12. And then we're going to go up here to swatches. And this is like just where we're going to input our background images. Now, what I actually want is, because I bought a squeeze punch, a Circle Fiskars squeeze punch for this project, that will give me 2-inch round circles to use as my cupcake flags. Now, to set that up in PicMonkey, you have to do a little bit of math, but it's not hard math, so hopefully it'll be easy to follow along. So I want you to picture this white square here in front of you as your piece of paper that's going to go in your printer. Now, obviously your paper's not square, it's letter size, which is, most people get a printable space on their letter size paper of about 8 inches by 11 inches. So if you think of it in a portrait mode, it's 8 by 11. If you think of it in landscape mode, it's 11 by 8. So we're going to picture this so we get good spacing as 11 inches by 8 inches. Now down here, we have these numbers here, 2000 by 2000. What does that mean? Well, this is how many pixels wide your photo is. So it's 2000 by 2000 pixels. Pixels are what you need to know in order to get a great printed, consistently sized printed picture. When we use the internet and we upload photos to the internet, we use low resolution photos, which are technically 72 dpi. We don't use internet 72 dpi pictures for printing. They print very small. If you try to blow them up, they're very grainy and pixelated. What you use for printing is a standard measurement of 300 dpi. So whenever you're looking at your letter size paper and you're thinking, like, I want my square here, I want my printable space to fill up a letter size paper, then you're going to go with however many inches times 300. So for a landscape paper, where I'm going to try to utilize as much space as possible, keeping in mind that I want to have a little bit more than 2 inches of workable space for my circles, then we're gonna change these numbers down here. First thing I'm gonna do is unlock the proportion, and I'm gonna change this to 3,300, which is 300 times 11, and this to 2,400, which is 300 times 8. And hit tab, and there you go. So now, obviously have more than 2 inches of space in each of these squares. So it's kind of up to you how you want to manage your project. I think for just beginner's sake, we're going to go ahead and this will get you 9 circles on your page. And you're guaranteed to get that lots of room around for when you want to punch out your circle. So I'm just going to go with this, and hopefully we'll like it when it's done. So again, we're over here in swatches, and these are just background graphic textural images. And I'm going to go ahead and choose, I think maybe we'll go with this blue texture today. And just drag with your mouse and drop. Okay? And do that for each one of the squares until they're all filled. Okay, so I filled all of my blue squares. There you go. And I'm going to go ahead, like I said, and leave this little spacing so that I can see my rectangles and how they look. Now, if we're happy with this, and this is what we want, then we're going to go ahead and, I'm happy with it, I should say. So we're going to go ahead and hit edit. Okay, and what edit will do is it will flatten your image completely, and it will make it easier to work with on the next page. Okay, so here we are in the editor, and what we're going to do is we're going to start adding the design to make our tags. So like I said, since I'm doing a circle, I'm going to go ahead and start adding some circle shapes. And I'm going to do that using, you can explore over here, but there's, you know, these kind of shapes, or they're called overlays. There's frames, textures. But I'm going to go with themes because they have this great School U theme, and I'm going to choose that. I'm going to go down here to, scroll down to Shape It's, which is an overlay. And this is where they have like cool chalkboard, which would kind of be fun. Maybe we'll do that one, chalkboard. So there it goes, pulls right up. Now this, it doesn't tell you what size it is, but you know, it's smaller than 2 inches, I can tell you that. It's probably maybe about 1.5 inches, I think. So what we're going to do is just drag it over to the approximate center of our rectangle. Now, we don't have the option of centering it in the square. There is no align option in PicMonkey, so everything's kind of really just eyeball. Now, because it's a little small, I don't want it to be too big, but I've played with this a little bit, so I think that just making it a little bit bigger, that's like the most I want it, okay? So you just drag your corners and it will scale it to fit. If you want to rotate for some reason, you can use, this is the rotate handle. Now in PicMonkey, when you have your shapes or images, you can right click and it will give you sometimes some extra options. So I'm going to go ahead and the extra option I'm going to use to complete this part of the project is duplicate overlay. So right click, choose that, and I'm just going to drag and approximately center and do it again. And I'm going to do it until I've got all my circles set up. Okay, so as you'll see, I've got all of my circles set up in their respective rectangles, and we're just going to kind of drag them so they're a little centered. Again, because we're punching them out with the circle punch, they don't have to be centered. You just have to make sure you have a consistent amount of room around each circle and in each rectangle. So that looks good to me. And now in order to move forward to add text, I'm going to go ahead and what is called flatten or merge this all of these squares down into one image so that when I work with the text, I don't accidentally pick up these circles and move them around. So when you're going to merge using this option here, and this is where you kind of want to be sure that you're happy with your circles where they are, your shapes where they are before you do this, because it's not something that you can undo. So I'm happy with it, down it goes. And if you wanted to, again, like as long as you're happy with how that is, you can undo it now, but you can't undo it later. So for whatever reason you need to undo it, now's the time. Otherwise, we're going to move on. You could, if you wanted to, add other shapes, overlays, labels, whatever. You can explore your graphic options here on the menu. But I am happy with this, and all I want to do at this point is just add text. And so I'm going over here to my window and choose the text option. And PicMonkey gives you all these great fonts to choose from. I am going to go ahead and scroll down until I find the one that I like. They are broken up into categories. Sans serif, scroll down, there's serif, scroll down, handwriting, etc., etc. Some of them, again, are the royal features, so you would have to be a subscriber in order to get those little crown ones unlocked. There's display, there's all kinds, penmanship, etc., etc. And then, yeah, you can just sort of look and see what they have and what you like. Now, I like Amatic small caps. That's what I'm going to choose. So I select my font and then I hit add text, and up will pop the text window. Then I'm going to drag my text window over to my circle, and because I'm using a black background, I'm going to want to change the color of my font to white. Okay, and then I'm just going to double click, and don't worry about the size at this point because we can change that, and I'm just going to hit all caps and just type yum. Whoops, that's you. Yum. With an exclamation point. And then I'm going to click off, and I'm going to click back on. And if I wanted to edit the text, all I would do, again, is just double click. But I don't. I just want to edit my text window here. So I'm going to bring that down. And then I think I'm going to make the size of my font a little bit bigger, which is over here in the text editor window. So I'm just going to drag it up, and as you'll see that the box will change, so you can make the box a little bigger and, you know, get it to like where you like it, and you can click off to see how it looks. And for that kind of like chalk look, you can fade so it's not like so stark white. It's just kind of cute. And you can, I think sometimes will give you the option to do different things. Like this one looks like you can bold if you want to, but I like it the way it was, so I'm going to off click the bold. And I'm pretty happy with it. Looks kind of cute. Again, you can play with different things down here. You can center it, sorry, in the text window. That might help you get a better idea of what a centering the font looks like. All right, that looks good. Yum. Okay, so again, just like I did the circles and just like I did the background, we're just gonna right click, duplicate text, and drag and drop. And we're gonna do that until all the circles have yum in the middle. Okay, so as you can see, we've got yum all across our circles. And I just wanted to leave this one sort of open to show you that like if you are really picky about how it's centered, you can use your arrow keys to nudge it into place exactly where you want it. And another idea is kind of get you to think about how to use PicMonkey in this sort of situation is, you know, you could make these name tags. Once you've got, you know, all of your text spread out like this, all you have to do is just go into one and double click and edit the text to, you know, whatever you wanted. And, you know, again, you can use your arrow keys to nudge it around or whatever. So you could make place cards for Thanksgiving dinner or whatever, you know, world's your oyster, whatever you want to do. So I'll change this back to yum. Okay. And again, we're going to do the same thing. If we're happy with how this looks, we're going to merge it down. Now, I kind of think this needs a little something else, so I'm going to go over here to overlays, and let me see what they have here, just to play around a little bit. I saw something once upon a time. Oh, I think it was maybe in the theme. Let's go back to School U. Awards. Let's see what that is. Okay, so here we go. This is kind of cute. And again, we can okay, so we'll just use this as an example. So here's something we could do. Ooh, that's kind of cool. So really, in theory, you can change the modes or whatever and play with that and see how it looks. You can change the colors to see how it looks as well. I'm just going to leave it at normal because it doesn't look to be any different, and fade it up a little bit more. And then I'm going to actually resize it smaller so it kind of just goes like that. And so you kind of get like a little bit of added flair. I like that. I'm happy with that. So again, right click, duplicate overlay, and we're going to do that on each of these again till they're all filled in. So this is, you know, the only bummer about PicMonkey, maybe they'll update this in the future, but is like you can't click multiple options at once. So like, for example, I can't click this, you know, I can only click one at a time. I can't shift click, control click. I can't drag and select a bunch of them to like align them or whatever. So you can do that in more advanced programs like Photoshop and Illustrator and align things. It's a little bit easier, but the trade-off is PicMonkey, you can play with it and make something really cool in an hour or two in your afternoon, or you can spend an hour or two every day learning those programs. So it's up to you. If this is something you like, it's a great thing to start with, and maybe later on you can get into an advanced program. But this is fine for now. Works for me. So again, we're just gonna do all this till we get them all filled and looking good. Okay, so here we go. I've got my squares set up the way that I want them. And again, we're gonna flatten and merge. And I think this looks pretty good. So at this point in time, we're ready to save it as an image to print. So we go here to save. Now, I will notice, as I've noticed something that's really important, is that if you remember when we set up our original file, it was set up at 3300 by 2400 dpi, and that gives us an exact measurement of 11 inches by 8 inches. We want that to stay the same. We don't want that to change. So we can tell it over here that we really want, you know, it's okay for it to stay at this, I like how they use the James Bond gentleman as their quality control over here. I definitely agree that Sean Connery would be the best, since they don't offer the Daniel Craig option. But Pierce, we're just gonna go with him. He's good. He gives me a 2 megabyte file size, which is a real nice big printable file size. However, the problem is that our pixels here have changed. So what we want to do is change these back to the way they were. We don't want PicMonkey to change them. Now, $23.99, that's 1 pixel off. We'll be okay with that. We're going to enter the file name here, and I'm just going to go with BT, Back to School for Mom, Target, and PicMonkey, and tags. Okay, save. And it's pulled up here, just my file folder where I want to save it, and I'll say save. Okay, so just remember where you've saved it on your computer. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. There it is in my file. I have it saved in my Target Back to School photo prints file, and double click on it. Here it is in all its glory. What I want to do now is set it up for printing. So I've already gone to my printer, and I've already loaded up my 8.5 by 11 65-pound white cardstock that I bought at Target in the office supply section. I use it for all my printables. I just use 65-pound white cardstock, and as long as it says it's compatible with an inkjet printer, then yay. So I went ahead and already set that up in my printer, and now I'm going to walk you through the really quick steps of how to get it to print out, and we'll go from there. So hit print, and this will pull up your print pictures option. Because this is a JPEG file, it treats it like a photo. If it was a PDF or something, a document, you would get a different print option screen. But because it's, again, like a JPEG, it's going to treat it like a photo. So we want to make sure that it's doing everything that it's supposed to do. First and foremost, unclick Fit Picture to Frame. That's going to change our settings. Remember, we want to keep it at 3300 by 2400. We don't want the computer to make changes for us. We want to be in control. So off-click Fit Picture to Screen or to Frame. I have my printer chosen, the HP PhotoSmart 5520 inkjet printer. I'm happy with it being a letter size piece of paper. 600 by 600 is the print quality that they choose for photos, and that doesn't change the size. It's just the quality of printing. Can't change that, so that's fine. And here is where, and this will be different on all printers, it will give you the option of what paper you're going to choose to print on. So most of the time you get like a premium paper, other inkjet paper, your photo papers. What I love to use for cardstock, and I use it consistently, is matte greeting card. I get great consistent results doing that, so that's always what I choose. And at this point, we're good. We don't have to fix anything else. We can go from here. So if we wanted to add some advanced options, we would go into the options panel down here. Oh, actually, it's a good thing we clicked on it because I don't want this to sharpen for printing. It's fine the way it is. And so hit OK. And now we're going to hit print, and it's going to send it to the printer. And this is basically it. We're done. It's going to show up in the printer, and I'm going to take it out. I'm going to take some pictures of the rest of the process to show you how I use my Fisker squeeze punch to squeeze out 2-inch circles. And I'm just going to glue those on some lollipop sticks and stick them in some cupcakes. And I might even cut out some of the other tags into squares and just use those to like tie on a cookie in a Ziploc bag or something like that. So really, we've been doing this for 25 minutes, and that includes me blabbing on and on about all this process. And really, if we weren't talking about it, it would have moved a lot faster. So you can see that in 20 minutes, you made a cute set of printables. You can print as many copies as you want to make as many cupcake flags, name tags, place cards, bookmarks, whatever you want. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my quick little simple printing tutorial using PicMonkey. And if you like it, that you'll share this post with your friends and hopefully try a PicMonkey project out for yourself this afternoon. Okay, thanks a lot.